Seat is a Spanish manufacturer and they are part of the VW group. And it's very interesting how VW places all of their hot hatches from whatever brand they may be on the market in terms of both price and performance. If you want to get the absolute most bang for your buck in an MQB car, you're looking at the Cupra 290. Or in other words, you're looking at the front wheel drive Golf R. Out of all the two-door MQB cars, I think this one looks the best. The Cupra 290 is a very elegant, a very attractive car, isn't it? But it should be more brash than it is. It doesn't really look like it's got 290 horse. If it wasn't for the huge wheels and badges, you'd never know. In here, it's basically a Golf minus a bit in quality. Now, I don't need anything in here to be any nicer than it is. For the most part, that is because it is really nice. And the way they mount the sat-nav in here is actually much better than in the Golf, because in the Golf it's down here, and here's how you do it. You move the vents to the side and put the screen there. When I look at the screen, I still see a little bit of what's going on the road. In a car interior, the two most important things to me are the steering wheel and the seat. On both counts, job well done. The seats are a bit wide for me, but the most important part is the combination of how it all comes together. I can adjust the wheel and the seat exactly as I want them, so that's awesome. Tires. When I picked up the car and saw the Michelin Man on the sidewall, I was like, yes, Pilot Super Sports. And I got a little closer. Alpines, seeing how the weather situation is sort of what it is. It's also called April in Europe. And that was probably not a bad call. On the Autobahn, going 170 kilometers or so, hit it, and it seriously still pulls. The EA888 is a real sweetheart of an engine. Power everywhere, torque everywhere. It's just hammer on the gas and it goes. Baby F-type noises coming in. Not quite so loud, not quite so crazy, but very enjoyable nevertheless. Especially considering this is a hot hatchback. They usually don't sound like this, do they? Now, Nürburgring records, I think they're tremendous fun. The implications, it's just when a group of engineers gets together to screw with another group of engineers and be like, yeah, you know what, our car's faster, we made it go faster. 2 seconds faster, but faster nevertheless. And it's all very funny because afterwards, all the engineers get fake Facebook accounts and be like, oof, cup tires, I saw that, cup tires. And it was similar when Seat actually took the front wheel drive Nürburgring title from Renault. But the record still counts, and that's because you can actually get the sub 8 package. This car has the most modest performance package, which means it comes with the beautiful 19-inch wheels and the 4-piston Brembos. However, you can go one step further. Then you get the cup tires. And then you can push it one more, and they'll take a bunch of stuff out of the interior, and they do the Porsche thing. They charge you more for it. You can really modulate the brakes well with the Brembos. And the performance they give, the immediate performance you get from the Brembos, that is quite spectacular. They're probably still not necessary if you just drive on the road. But oh boy, are they fun. Ultimately though, if you buy a Cupra and you don't take it to the track, you're the one that's wrong. When you go on track with an instructor for the first time, it'll take you approximately 2 laps before you realize, I don't really know how to brake, or steer, or apply throttle. I don't know about your heel and toe skills, but mine is sort of on the I'd rather not talk about it side of things. The DSG not only gives me a chance to focus on the million other things I gotta do, but also realistically, it's shifted twice and is already putting power back to the wheels before I could even fully depress a clutch pedal. So there's that. So it's a very good gearbox then, but it auto upshifts in manual mode for no good reason. They specifically engineered rev limiters so you couldn't go to 8,000 RPM and blow up the engine. They do have something in place. You don't need to upshift for me. Don't be old German about it and be like, nah, that's red. That's red right there. Can't do it. Well, upshift. That's the proper way. Well, upshift. Let's say in second gear, you're approaching a corner and you know shifting into third is just not going to be worth it. So you wanted to bang the ref limiter. But now that you're lifting just at the moment when the car decides it wants to upshift, now you have a bit of an uncontrolled weight shift in there. Granted, it won't be too sketchy simply because the shifts, they happen so quickly. But it's just not an approach I understand. For the most part, I blame the VW suits. I just can't imagine any of the engineers went, yeah, it's gonna auto upshift. We don't have any pride. I still very much love the DSG. It's such a good gearbox, but its shortcomings are just so unnecessary. That's infuriating. Now in that mid-corner bump there, I feel like the steering should tell me, all right, surface not that good, and give me a little wiggle here. You can put the steering in normal or Cupra mode, and when you're going slow, you can very much tell the difference. However, once you get going, it sort of all becomes the same. When you cycle through the damper settings and go through the same corner over and over again, you can feel profound differences. Going to sport, you gain precision, you have less body roll. From sport to Cupra, the difference really only is that it is considerably stiffer. On the road, give me sport, give me Cupra, I don't really care. Considering the sort of performance I'm able to extract from this car, even on these winter tires, makes me think on a set of UHP tires, it's gonna be an absolute beast. The Cupra's character is defined by two things: the motor and the limited slip diff. The diff is a proper mechanical unit, but it's controlled by computers, which means it can do properly clinical things. If you hit the gas at just the right moment coming out of a corner, you can tell there's some wizardry going on. Am I gonna be sad because I'm quote unquote lacking a mechanical feel? I don't really think so. I'm very happy with the car as it is. It's got a very good character, but its character just is not, let's go out and be silly all of the time. It's more about, all right, let's go as fast as we possibly can. You can still push it so hard that it's gonna have trouble finding traction, although I have to admit that point is very, very high, even on these winter tires. Now, when it's raining like it is right now, you can obviously just stomp on it, and there's really nothing the systems can do. I never went for a really good drive in this car and came back wanting for an all-wheel drive system. Just didn't happen, and it is because of that beautiful diff. Yes! Alright, goes to over 2 bars of boost. Good to know. And there's my G's. That would be 0.6, 0.7. Alright. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't be looking at the screen going through a corner at 0.7 G's. It's not a good idea. Let's go. Yeah. I like automobiles, especially if they're good like this.
So Tom's back.
Yeah.
And he's in the first car that you and I have never driven.
This was hilarious. I mean, you had me at baby jag noises. What about this car is Spanish? I mean, You went on and on about the transmission and how it was all, affected by the Volkswagen engineers in Wolfsburg and this and that. What about this car is Spanish? I want it to be spicier, I want it to be sort of the,
How much more spice do you need? I mean, it's a Nürburgring record holder.
Yeah? I want it to be Spanish.
How would this car be Spanish? Is it the way it dresses? Is it paint colors? What would make this car Spanish for you?
It's painted in red.
I think it looks better than the GTI, to be honest.
I agree with
and
you.
the Golf R.
That's what I said in the film. I think it's the best looking two-door MQB car.
It's got to do something a little bit different than what's the point of getting a GTI? Or should you get a GTI over this car?
Yeah, that's the other way around actually, because of pricing, essentially. Because the GTI with the performance pack and the active dampers is barely $1,000 less than the 290 horse Cupra. Okay. At that point, I'm like, all right, it's a GTI, and you do have a slightly nice interior, but 290 horse versus 230.
How does that jump happen the next grade? Meaning, how does the Cupra in Europe, how does the Cupra go from Cupra to Golf R? What's your jump there?
It's $7,000 less.
Yeah. And especially knowing you Germans, you're going to debadge the car anyway, so nobody knows what it is.
Which is what you keep claiming, Paul. That is so not true.
Every time I see it.
Yes, you are right, they debadge their cars, but it's not because they don't want you to know it's an AMG, it's an M car. They don't want you to know it's the 318 diesel Beamer. That's why they do it.
So it's the other way. So if you do have a hot car like this...
We are just as American as the Americans themselves.
You didn't get to take this on the track, but you talked about buying these cars specifically for track, and you even talked about them coming with extreme track tires. That just seems like something the brand welcomes in a way that you don't even hear from VW.
Oh yeah, especially, give me Cup tires, no dry sump, still warranty intact, and let's just go crazy.
They're kind of welcoming track time with a warranty. That's rare.
Isn't it?
It's rare, but here's the thing we're not talking about. Paul just bought a Porsche, and they have restrictions on what tires you can put and how much track time you can do before the warranty no longer applies.
They actually do.
That's the elephant in the room.
It's in the owner's manual.
Yeah. To be fair though, with the Cayman, I'm assuming on Cup tires, it's still going to be, the G-forces are just going to be that much more in comparison to the Cupra. So maybe we should be fair here, and maybe they have a good reason.
Speaking of G-forces, I'm watching the end of your film going, Tom's not looking at the road. Tom's looking at the G-meter, which we've joked about even since the GTR. We've joked about how as the screens do that, it distracts you so much. I love that in the middle of that you went, I'm being an idiot. I loved that. So thank you, because it was the exact thought going through my mind. But I'm thrilled that you're over there and you've got something next. What's the next thing you have in the lineup?
That's the Peugeot 208 GTI, but it's the one by Peugeot Sport.
There's another brand we haven't even touched. So thank you for covering that stuff.
And they are letting you take it on track, right?
Yes, they will.
What's the point at which you and I become jealous of Tom? That's going to happen at some point.
It's already happening right about now.
I'm going to mini pilgrimage all the time, and at some point you're just going to die of jealousy.
Nice. Well, thanks for being with us as always, and you're now Mr. Green, so we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next time with the Peugeot.
That's what's up.